How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another Rise of Kingdoms Commander Guide video, and for today's video we will be talking about Edward of Woodstock. Okay, so just in time because the Edward wheel just came to my kingdom, and in fact it just finished yesterday, so I have some gems saved up for the next wheel, and we'll probably do a wheel spinning the next time round we get Edward, since I am focusing on archer commanders, and I just got my T5 archers yesterday, so really happy. Okay, so I digress. Let us go through the skills on Edward. First skill, Archer's Honor. Okay, what is special about this skill and this commander is that the rage requirement of his primary skill is 1350, whereas you look at the other commanders, all of their rage requirements, it's pretty standard, it's 1000. Okay, only Edward of Woodstock's one is 1350. That is the current highest rage requirement of any skill inside of the game. Okay, Genghis Khan one is also special, it's 950 only, but we are not talking about that today. So Edward has the highest rage requirement for his primary skill out of all the commanders in the game thus far. Okay, so it deals massive damage to a single target up to a damage factor of 2500, guys. That is freaking crazy. So indeed it is massive damage, and in fact it's the highest direct damage factor inside of the game. I don't think anyone can top it. Okay, Guan Yu comes close with his 2000, but still 2500, the highest one inside of the game thus far, and it is only up to a maximum of 1250 if he's serving as a secondary commander. So it is technically halved, and once used will reduce the rage of Edward's troops by 300, cannot drop below 0 rage. Okay, so you really do not want to put Edward as the secondary commander. Under no circumstances should he be the secondary commander. You're just losing way too much value off his first skill. His damage is completely halved, and I don't see any reason at all whatsoever to put him as the secondary commander because of this effect. But this is a super powerful skill. No doubt it causes a bit more rage, but still the highest damaging skill inside of the game thus far for single targets. Next up, Vengeful Crusade. Increases archers units health by a maximum of 30% and march speed up to a maximum of 30% while troops are on the map. Okay, health bonus, this is pretty good because archers are pretty squishy to begin with, and this gives them a little bit of tank. March speed, I don't think it's that useful, honestly speaking. The only other archer commander which gives march speed is actually El Cid, with a march speed bonus of up to 15%. So 45% march speed. Your archers can be a bit fast, but they are nowhere near as fast as cavalry, obviously, and for infantry, basically anything can outrun an infantry march. So the speed bonus, I'm not feeling so great about it. Okay, next skill, Cressy's campaign. Okay, when an army led by this commander contains only archer units, increases skill damage by up to a maximum of 25% and increases damage dealt to infantry units by archer units by up to a maximum of 5%. So this obviously is really good. The first part, boosting your skill damage by 25%, which means instead of 2500 you are getting what's half of 650? Oh my, what's half of 1250? That's about 625 more. Okay, so you get 3125. Yeah, if my math is correct. Is it correct? Yeah, I think so. Okay, 3125 direct damage factor alone because of this skill damage bonus. Guys, that is a crazy amount of skill damage factor. That is not even considering if you're going to put in a secondary commander which boosts skill damage, and I'll get more into that later on. Damage to infantry units increased by 5%, so that is really good as well, especially when you want to beat down an infantry defense, like maybe a Richard defense, a Charles Constantine defense, Richard Constantine defense, Wu Constantine defense. You know, really good to be using Edward in this case. Next up, Limoges Ambush. I'm not sure if I'm butchering this name, but anyways, when the army led by this commander is at 70% strength or higher, increases attack archer units by up to a maximum of 40%, decreases defense by 10%. This once again just increases his damage output even more. It's absolutely crazy. Okay, and his expertise, all or nothing, increases normal attack and counter attack damage by 50% for 2 seconds after using a skill, a whopping 50%. But we all know Edward is a freaking skill damage commander. Normal attack and counter attack damage, 50% buff, really good, but I would prefer it to be skill damage. Nonetheless, it's still good to have. After your skill damage, you're still going to do quite a bit of normal attack and counter attack damage. So really good. Okay, and he is a wheel commander, so you can only get him from spinning the wheel. Once you unlock him, you can use your universal hits on him. Now let us go through his talent builds. Alright, so the first build, this talent build is specifically for the open field. Okay, open field, I will pair him with YSG. Okay, this build, why? Because you are gaining everything you can from the rage, from the skill tree that gives you the maximum amount of rage possible, so you can keep firing off those skills. And Edward really needs a lot of rage because of his primary skill, the fact that it causes 1350, and on top of that, he also reduces his own rage by 300 each time. So you want to pick up every single talent point that can give you rage here. You have this one, no, this one gives attack, I think. This one gives you rage. All of these give you rage and extra skill damage. So definitely you want to max out your skill tree. Some people chose to pick up naked rage. I chose not to, because even though this is a glass commander, glass cannon type commander, and archers are sort of glass cannons, you want to do a lot of damage fast and then you don't care about your tankiness. But I feel that he's already very squishy to begin with and is probably the #1 target in the open field. So getting naked rage will make him last like even a shorter amount of time. So I think it's not really worth to pick up naked rage. That being said, if you want to, I guess you can sacrifice one of these skills on the left or the right here. Okay, and then you can sacrifice those 3 points and put them into naked rage, but I wouldn't recommend it because I feel that he's already super squishy, and making him even more squishy generally isn't such a good idea. Okay, the next build I have is this build. Okay, you're going with the full archer path. You're only going with some of the rage builds, and this is specifically for a Edward Tomiris rally. Okay, only for Edward Tomiris, no other commanders. Okay, so if you pair him with a Tomiris secondary, you want to be using this skill tree. Okay, if you use him with a YSG, you don't want to use this skill tree. If you use him with any other commander, which I can't really think of much other commanders you can use him with. Okay, so you shouldn't be using this skill tree. So this skill tree is specific to Tomiris only, because you don't want to gain rage so fast. If you pick this up and if you pick this up, then you'll be gaining rage too fast, and you are not going to be getting the maximum effect out of Tomiris' poison. Okay, Tomiris is a very unique commander in the case that she poisons her enemies the longer it takes for you to activate the skill. So once you activate her skill, all her poison is lost. That means she is a perfect pair with Edward because of his high rage requirement. Means you can store it and you can build up stacks of poison before dealing out the damage onto your enemy, because the longer you can stack the poison, the more poison stacks you have on the enemy, the greater the amount of damage you're going to do with Tomiris. And Edward plus Tomiris gives the largest amount of skill damage inside of the game currently, the largest single target damage for rallies inside the game, so you definitely want to pick that up. Okay, and of course you want to go with the full archer tree to take advantage of all of the buffs to the archers. And bringing a rally, obviously you want it to be a full archer rally and nothing else to take, to obviously make use of this skill as well, which increases your skill damage bonus and your damage to infantry when you only have archer units. Right, next up, let us go through the pairings for Edward of Woodstock. Not a lot of commanders you can pair him with actually. YSG is one very popular choice which people like to pair him with, especially in the open field as well. This is more for open field. Okay, you can pair him with YSG for rallies also, though for rallies I actually prefer Tomiris. But if you want to do open field with Edward, then Edward YSG will be the way to go with the first rage build that I showed you guys. And Edward YSG, not only do you have a very high single target damage from Edward, but you also have a very high AoE damage from YSG himself. So this is a really crazy build. If you can get YSG's second skill to proc, increase the attack of archer units by 100%, oh boy, 6,250 damage, guys. 6,250 direct damage factor. And if you put this in Destiny, skill damage by 50%, man, I don't even want to think about it. The numbers are just off the charts, absolutely off the charts, guys. Edward's primary skill in a rally, he can pop off more than 100,000 skill damage in one shot, guys. One arrow, it can pop off more than 100,000 damage. And Edward YSG or Edward Tomiris is one of the only 2 combos that can currently get a positive trait on 武则天 Garrison right now. Okay, so if you want to beat down a 武则天 Garrison, there's only 2 combos in the game that can beat her down. That is Edward with either YSG or Tomiris, and the second combination is actually Attila with Takeda. Okay, if you want to get a positive trait on a 武则天 Garrison. Right, next commander that you can pair him with is Tomiris. Okay, Tomiris, these 2 commanders are basically made for each other. Tomiris, I don't think you want to pair with anyone else. Maybe you can pair her with the new commander Artemisia, but I don't think so. Okay, I don't even have her yet because this kingdom is still rather new. Okay, and Tomiris, what's very special about her, like I mentioned earlier, is you want to delay her activating her skill, because the longer you delay, the more poison stacks you can gain. And if her skill procs before she hits the maximum amount of stacks of poison, then obviously you're not getting a lot of damage. Edward Tomiris is a combo specifically for rallying. I would not recommend this combo on the open field, because the open field I don't think you can really stack the poison that well, because of people's troops are moving around, and apart from the troops moving around, you obviously have other people, maybe they are focusing down on one match. You might not even have the time for the poison to fully take effect. So Edward Tomiris is a rally combo. It's not so much of an open field combo, and when you pair them together, it's really good. You get normal attack bone damage from this. Obviously this is only for cities. Okay, right, I didn't read that earlier. Okay, so only for cities, not that useful. This one you get across the board, and a 10% chance to increase the defense of a single target bar up to 30%. Okay, third skill of Tomiris, really good for Edward as well. And then obviously your 4th skill is the poison skill, and okay, more regular attack and counter attack damage. Okay, so you don't get as much of a big buff to Edward's skill damage as compared to YSG, but her damage coupled with Edward's first arrow damage, you're basically set to take down almost any garrison, unless it's a cavalry defending garrison. So these 2 are the ones that I will pair with Edward. For more free-to-play players, whereby you can only afford to max 1 commander, okay, I wouldn't recommend you to max Edward, because honestly, I feel that YSG or Tomiris is essential for Edward. But if you're one of those weirder, low spenders or free-to-play players who can only max 1 commander and you can only max Edward, then I would say you can pair him with a Herman as an epic commander. I think that's decent. It's not the best, but it's decent. Herman gets a nuke of his own as well. Of course, it's nothing close to YSG's to Edward's nuke, but I think the better pair for him would be Kusunoki. Because of this, his first skill, you can remove all negative effects from Edward's march, so you are pumping out a full damage nuke for Edward's primary skill. And of course you get this really nice 15% increase to attack and defense of your archer units. So I think Kusunoki will be my number 1 pair for free-to-play pairing, and second pairing will obviously go with Herman. Okay, so Edward, again, he doesn't have many good pairings in the game. Okay, YSG and Tomiris are basically the only ones that are really effective. If you're free to play, I would not recommend you to go and max Edward, or even if you're a low spender, I would not recommend you to go and max Edward, because you will need a YSG or Tomiris max as well if you really want to make full use of him. So yeah, that's basically it for this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed and hope you guys have learned something from this video. If you have, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and of course subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see more of such future ROK commander guides. Until the next time, I'm your host Korriban Gaming. Peace out.